Hello everybody at HDpiano, it's Joe. Today we are learning an absolute original banger. I don't know if this is the original of the original bangers, but I said that about the Doctor Who theme. I think this is written before, so this maybe is the original banger. Doctor Who owes everything he's got to this song. This is Shout by the Isley Brothers, and all I'm going to show you is the main chord progression and then how to jam off that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you get the idea. This is it. This happens many times in this song, in various forms, which is why we need to improvise. I think you get the idea. There's loads of stuff you can do with this type of music. It's so sort of fun to play. It's so simple. You can play it really fast. You can even play it slightly slower. And it's still fun. This is middle C. This is in the key of F major. So, B flats to watch out for. Quick question about you guys. Actually, a fact I wanted to share with you. This song is completely improvised. So they were basically playing a gig, and then one of them went, "Well, you know, you make me wanna," and they just kicked into it. That's how this song was formed. Pretty fortunate, but also not surprising because it's not the most complicated of songs. But my question for you is: this song has a dance attached to it. There is a specific Isley Brothers shout dance. I don't know it. I was born in the 80s. I'm not surprised because this song had been around for like 40 years by the time I was born. 30 years, sorry. But what other songs have dances attached to them? And like obviously like the Macarena is a good example of that. But what songs do you guys know that have dances attached to them? Don't be like, yeah, Beyonce's new song, she's got this sweet move. No. It needs to be a dance that like everyone does. It's almost like, you know, in a sort of military style. Doesn't have to be a march. Doesn't have to be anything too military. But you know what I mean. Everyone does it. Everyone knows it. Like the Macarena, which I probably still actually know. Anyway. So the chord progression is this. Root 5 in the left. And D. But first with F. Just like that. It's a strong left-hand style, this one. Not just the octave, which can be a bit boring. Makes it slightly more interesting by having the 5th note. Now let's just stick with the left hand for a minute and think about how to improvise with it. Just do it sound like that. Just add in notes of the scale at any point you like. Doesn't have to be notes of the scale. You can use chromatic notes. Put an extra note in, or maybe some triplets. But then the more you do that, of course, the more you're gravitating away from the Isley Brothers sound. But then the Isley Brothers, I think it must be like a banjo or a ukulele that is being strummed really fast. So extra notes, extra 16ths, etc. help the sound because those sounds don't have as much sort of clarity as the piano. The piano is a very clear sound. If you're strumming something, chances are you're going to have quite a lot more going on in the sound. It's going to have more layers, especially if more than one person is strumming something. Anyway, that's the left hand. The right hand just fits in on the offbeats in between these chords. First of all, first inversion F, like that. And then one note change gives you second inversion D minor. And that's it. Now, do that a couple more times just to show you. First inversion F, second inversion D minor, first inversion F, second inversion D minor. Now, how do you improvise with this? Any way you like. notes with a scale. Use blue notes, of course. So when in F, that's like the blue 2. I'm going up to the 9th, the 2nd note, like that. You can flick off anything, really. You can do anything you like. Now, what am I doing? Talking about blue notes. Blue notes are like the note that you'd expect, i.e. in that case 2. And you just basically grace it with the presence of a grace note before you play it. It accompanies the actual note, but only in a very small sense. You can play them slower. You can play them not as blue notes as well. They don't have to be blue notes. You could do a blue 1, like that. We don't call it blue, it's just a grace note off note 1. So, and I'm changing the rhythm. Trying to put in chords not where they're all supposed to be. So that's one way. Now let's think about the 7th. Now the 7th in F is E flat. I'm using the blue 7th here, okay? I think it accompanies this genre better. I don't think this track would use the major 7th. It would use the blue 7th. And the reason I know that is because later on in part 3, it's actually video 2, but it's called part 3, we do start using these blue notes. This is very much a blues. Okay, so here's our... So, using the 7th there, that's just another way of spicing up the character of these chords. And changing the rhythm. Always changing the rhythm. Always. That's a very useful way of doing it. Let's just have a quick look at D before we move away from this. Now I keep playing this. In D, C is the 7th note. So this chord, this second inversion, is so neatly placed to play a 7th in there. So you can. Do anything you want, okay? And I'm just putting in, what's this? This is the blue 5th in D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blue. These notes, these blue notes, they don't sound so great if you land on them like long term. Of course you can, because music's entirely subjective and it's an experiment, but if you do, expect it to sound wrong, because they are wrong. They're not in the key. So you just take little snippety snips. And I think that's enough improv for now. So thinking about the things we've got left hands that you can space around, put in extra notes, change the order of things, add notes, take notes away if you want, use chromatic notes. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you actually. So, a really nice device is just that you use any chromatic note that's attached to the note that's coming, i.e. in this case F, next note coming is D. So just before we get to that D, I can play either of the two chromatically linking notes to that D. And F. See what I'm doing? That's a really cool way of spicing up your left hand. And in the right hand, we spoke about using the 7th. So in F, adding that E flat for character, and in the D, adding the C for character. And then we also spoke about using blue notes. So these are grace notes, or if you're being really cool, acciacciaturas. And you just use them briefly, just sneak a little sound of them onto your main note. So that would be in F. G is the second note. That's like a blue second. Or in F, A flat is the third note. That's a blue third. That's a very common one. And then the same in D. There's the blue 5. Or maybe let's go for the blue one. Like that. And then rhythm. Change the order of notes. Increase the length of some, decrease the length of others, get rid of some, add some here, add some there. And just have fun with it. This sort of thing, I can give you a YouTube tutorial on it, but really it requires you to sit at your piano and do it, and do it, and do it. Let's hear it again. I'll do a fully hand-up version this time. And that's enough from me for this particular video. The next video is going to be our normal conventional style, where I'm just going to be teaching you a bit more of this fantastic track. And then the final video, not really conventional, because we're going to be thinking purely, well, not purely actually, but a lot about dynamics and maybe even the dance moves, but I'll need to look into those. This has been Joe, HDpiano. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, then head on over to the website HDpiano.com, where you can learn the rest of this and many more. This has been Joe again, HDpiano. Bye for now.